Hey guys, Civilord here, back again with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Thundercats Ultimates Cheetara, brought to us by the, well, I'm gonna say in this case anyways, not so fine folks over at Super7, but someone who is a fine folk, my good buddy, Evil Villain, who was nice enough to work out a bit of a Christmas gift exchange so I could get this and another figure that we'll take a look at later this week from this line that I just was not willing to drop the secondary market price cash for. So shout out to him, and as always, link will be in the description below to his Instagram, so you can head on over there, give him a follow, let him know Overlord sent you. But why is this figure from the not-so-fine folks over at Super7, might you ask? It's the final member, well, as far as the chronological order in which these figures were released. We're actually taking a look-see at Tigra tomorrow, but she is the final member of the core Thundercats team. They spent a lot of time, and I mean a lot of time, trying to make her as perfect as possible. What could be wrong with this figure? Well, I'll tell you, crap QC. Which is very, I'm not going to say it's outside the norm for Super 7. There's been several instances of their figures having some major issues, some of which never really bothered me, like the seam lines. We saw those on the Disney figures, or some paint issues. Those never really bugged me either. But as far as like breakage goes, I've only ever broken one of these, and that was the Batula from the Worst Wave 1. The only other time I've seen someone break a Super 7 figure, I've heard the Foot Soldiers are pretty bad from the Turtles line, which I got one of those sitting here with a busted arm, so I guess I can attest to that, even though I got the hips to work, and I was quite proud of myself for that, only for my dreams to be shattered by that arm. And then the only other instance I've heard of a Super 7 figure like straight up breaking was friend of the channel, T-Biz, had the Krang from the TMNT line, and the legs straight up shattered on that. So I don't hear a lot of breakage complaints with Super 7 stuff, at least not for people I talk to. I think some people had problems with the Robin Hood from the Disney line, but I didn't, so I can't attest to that. I just know it was an issue for some folks. But when it comes to Cheetara, why don't we cut right to the chase and get into the meat and taters of this review and take a look, see at all she has to offer in terms of accessories, because she comes with quite a few. She's got a pair of grip hands with the wrong hinge for holding stuff, so that's one knock against her, I guess, but I could let that slide if she had a pair of karate chop / running hands to use. The right one works. The left one, as you can see, has no peg on it because it straight up cracked clean off when I applied heat to this hand to try and get it to move. That's not supposed to happen, folks. When you heat the thing, it's supposed to work. Why didn't this? Starting to wonder if these weren't cracked in the packaging, because they love to just cram stuff in there. That said, that was not the only time something broke on this figure for me, because she also has a pair of claw hands. Well, she's got a right claw hand, the peg still attached, but not a left. So yeah, two of the left hands on my figure are straight broken and or useless. Thank God they weren't in the arm. Otherwise, I'd be FUCK'd to next Tuesday. That said, I did reach out to customer service about this. I don't know if I should expect to get the hands or a new figure or what, but, good old Rudy, shout out to Rudy. He's a pretty cool guy. He tries his best. I think he's the only customer service guy Super 7 has, because who wants to work for Brian Flynn, right? I'm just kidding. Not really. But, I commend the man for doing a good job, but, he can't always pull through. Sometimes stuff's too old. Sometimes they just straight up don't have it. But yes, I did reach out to him, and I'm hoping that I can get those hands, if not replacement figure, if need be. That said, she does come with her bow staff. Now, it should be worth noting that she does have a retracted bow staff on her wrist. It is removable, but I'm leaving it in there, A, because it fills that gap, and B, it's super small, and I don't want to lose the dang thing. That said, she does also come with this humongous flame effect, which I'm guessing plugs into this somehow. Which, what are you gonna do with that? That's just gonna make it sag. It's just not... It's not practical in any way, shape, or form. It's just way too heavy. Should have been made out of, like, hollow, hard plastic or something. She also comes with 2 extra heads. She's got the closed mouth head, which is what she comes packaged with, and the running head, which has the hair blowing back in the wind. This is a closed mouth head. This other head on her, it's kind of PO'd, probably because I broke her hands. Hashtag not my fault. Calm down, woman. She also comes with a mirror so she can accessorize and apply her mascara. Or is that not mascara? Is that just like tattoos or fur patterns? I don't know. But it's a working mirror. I will say Super 7 makes the best mirrors. They're always reflective. And then she also has, well, to me they look like a pair of castanets. But I know that's not what they are. They got a little string on them, so I'm guessing they can hang off somebody's neck, but I don't know. I don't think Cheetara is supposed to have these, like, all the time, so I don't know what the significance of those are. And then she also comes with a snowman arm. Why? I don't know. Maybe to stick up the snowman of Hook Mountain's butt, but there you go. She comes with this thing. I don't really know what the significance of it is, but it's there. It's like a weird... Is it a flute? Is it a 2-pronged flute? Maybe it's a flute, because this kind of feels like... Yeah, I think it's a flute. Thankfully, not the skin flute. That said, why don't we take a closer look at the figure in question, because there's a lot to talk about. I will say, those of you who thought Pumaira was too tall, Cheetara does not have that problem. She is very short in comparison. We'll see that in a minute here, but as far as her articulation is concerned, her head is on a double ball peg, but it looks down more than it looks up, so running poses are going to be a little difficult. She can look side to side. You can see she's got the kind of gritted teeth there. At least I think that's the PO'd head, unless that's the one I'm not using. Maybe it's this one. I don't know. Either way, she looks kind of PO'd. I don't know. I can't tell. So small. Her shoulders will go out to the side. Well, if you turn them, you get about 90 degrees. They will rotate. She's got single jointed elbow with rotation. Swivel at the wrist with a hinge. I want to say this elbow was stuck on mine before. I think, yeah, it is. I never heated this. I just actually got it to move. And then she's got a swivel in the diaphragm. It does wiggle a bit, but I heated this thing and pushed on it a little bit. It does not move for crap, so there is that. Her hips will kick out to the side pretty well, back down, forward and back. She's got a thigh cut in there. This hip on mine was super stuck. As you can see, it moves just fine now. I had to heat that up, otherwise I probably would have snapped it clean off, just like those wrist pegs. She also has a swivel at the knee with a hinge. I actually put some soap in the knee hinges, both of them. This one I actually hit right before I started recording. It works a little better, but it's still a little tight. Just got to work it in there a little bit more, but it worked better than this one, that's for sure. This one works a lot better now. I even put a little soap in this hip here on both sides of that hinge, so she could do the splitsies without me feeling like, I gotta break it. She does not have a boot cut, which kind of sucks. She's got perfect space for one, but she does have a hinge in the foot with a rocker. too loose. There we go. It is pretty tight. I might have to heat that too. I think this one worked a little better. It does. But yeah, these are very tight rockers. I'd probably recommend heating those. I'd recommend just blasting this hoe with a freaking flamethrower to get her to work. Because she was very tight out of package. A couple of joints I was a little worried about snapping, but thankfully I didn't snap anything but those wrists. And again, they weren't in her arms, so there is that at least. But yeah, not the best figure, unfortunately. Probably, I don't want to say she's one of the weakest ones in the line, but due to the quality control issues, it does kind of kill the buzz for me a bit. Because I was really looking forward to this figure. I got it for a great deal. I worked out a trade to get her, and the trade didn't cost me a lot of money, even though the thing I sent was of significant value, especially the Evil Villain. But, you know, shout out to him for sending this figure my way anyways, despite its issues. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that Super7 comes through with those hands, but I'm not going to get my hopes up, you know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, it's time now that we move right along and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here's good old Cheetara, alongside her fellow Thundercats teammates. We have the only other female Thundercats teammate, Cheetara, who is a little tall, we'll see, giving Wonder Woman a run for her money, as well as Lion-O, the figurehead of Thundercats, and I think Cheetara and Lion-O scale really, really well. They look great together. Cheetara's a bit tall, but this may be an unpopular opinion, but I think if Cheetara was on the Cheetara body, I wouldn't have had the problems I have with the figure. Not gonna lie. So hindsight's 20/20, I guess. I'd say getting these two out of here. And let me actually check Cheetara quick. Does she have a... No, she does not have a boot swivel. What is with Super7 and not putting in boot swivels? That's so weird to me. Cheetara also has the weird, is it the swivel below the knee instead of the, yeah, she does. She's got the swivel below the knee as opposed to a hinge swivel knee like Cheetara has, which is more or less what you want. It's a sturdier joint. It's a little bit easier to get to move when it's tight, but still not the best. So comparing her to our two regulars, we have the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibilith right there, and the infamous Spawn, who, as usual, towers over everyone, especially in this case since Cheetara is a teeny tiny cat lady. So, with that being said, it is time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and after a 2.5-year wait to finally get good old Cheetara to complete our core Thundercats team, I think we could have waited a little bit longer, because out of all of the Thundercats Ultimates I've reviewed on this channel thus far, Cheetara here is the only one I've had legitimate quality control issues with. On top of the fact that she did have some stuck joints that I needed to heat up with the hairdryer and lubricate with some soap. It seemed to have done the trick. Knock on wood, it stays that way. She is also the only Thundercats Ultimates figure that I've actually broken. Like, straight up, no contest, them left hands be broken. And that is after applying heat, need I remind you. So, yeah, not the best quality control ever. Like, at all. And at this point, I still haven't heard back from customer service, so I don't know if I'll get those two left hands replaced or not. So if anyone has them and isn't using them, please let me know in the comments, and maybe we can forward the chat over to my Instagram DMs and work something out. But that aside, I think she is still alright. The only major issue I have with the figure is the lack of a boot swivel and more range in the torso and the head to get her into better running poses, and a stand. I mean, I'm using a good old Toddy Mac DC Multiverse stand, but the peg is not the right size, because of course it's not. But that's besides the point. A boot swivel would have been nice, though. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later.